Tonight on the Mike Tomlin Show, the Steelers look to snap a 3-game losing streak and clinch the AFC North division title when the 10-4 Colts come to Heinz Field on Sunday. Coach Tomlin joins Bob Pompeani to discuss what went wrong in Cincinnati and why there will be no sweeping changes to how the Steelers approach this Week 16 matchup. Plus, Merril Hoge gives us his playbook on why stopping the run is an important part of a winning formula for Pittsburgh. And we remember a Hall of Famer and Steelers legend, Kevin Greene. The Mike Tomlin Show starts right now.
Here we go. This pass is caught, and that's a touchdown. That's the way to work. Come on. He's hit that sack. The Steelers win the football game. Let's go. Come get it. You know what it is.
This one is in the history books.
Here we go.
The Mike Tomlin Show is presented by 84 Lumber.
Hi everybody, I'm Missy Matthews. Welcome to the Mike Tomlin Show presented by 84 Lumber. The Steelers have unfortunately extended their losing streak to 3 games after falling to the Bengals on Monday Night Football. Now the final score was 27-17, but it certainly felt much worse. Immediately following the game, Coach Tomlin said, quote, "We're not a good football group right now. The Steelers still have a spot in the playoffs, and now it's a matter if they can lock up the AFC North and stay at home in the postseason." Let's say good evening to Bob Pompeani and Coach Tomlin for more on what went wrong in Cincinnati. Guys.
All right, Missy, thanks very much. As we welcome in Mike Tomlin and Coach, before we do anything else, Merry Christmas to you and your family. Hope you had a wonderful holiday. And I know that right now a big gift that you can supply and your team can supply is a win against Indianapolis. I just want to get your thoughts about how long a 4-week span can be. It seems like not too long ago you guys were riding high, and for the last 4 weeks it's not been that way. After your press conference during the game the other day, you said it's fixable. So how do you start with the fix?
In the same ways that we were able to produce 11 wins in a row, we're capable of fixing what's transpired over the last several weeks. And really, it's about our process, assessing who's available to us and putting together a good plan, and guys working that plan and going out and executing. And so, for me, I've been in it long enough to have that clarity of perspective, that it's about the process singularly. It's about us getting singularly focused and tuning out the noise. We've done it before, and that's why I'm confident that we're capable of doing it again.
One of the problems has been really slow starts. First quarter, I look back at the last 8 games, and the first possession has resulted in 0 points. Can you pinpoint a reason why it's been a flat start to all of these games? And it's become a trend now at this point.
No question. It has been, if it was one thing, you could identify it and fix it, but really it's been popcorn. It's been a myriad of things. Sometimes it's a penalty that gets you off schedule, an incomplete ball for one reason or another, drops, etc., negative plays in the running game. It really has been an overall collective, and the reality is we're not good enough, particularly in that space. And it's one thing to start slow, but it's another thing to do what we did the other night, which is start slow and turn the ball over. Giving Cincinnati the ball on the short field was catastrophic in the first half of that football game. Sometimes you can, we start slow, they start slow, there's an exchange of punts, and really that's what was transpiring. Really, that's what was transpiring the last 2 weeks. That's what was transpiring in Buffalo until they had to pick 6. So in the midst of those slow starts, man, we got to do a better job while we work at getting better at it. We got to do a better job of maintaining possession of the football.
When you're the quarterback, of course, you get a lot of focus, a lot of attention, and Ben Roethlisberger for the first 10 weeks of the season, there was conversation about him being in the MVP conversation. The last 4 weeks, not so much, and he has repeatedly said it's not an arm issue in terms of physical problems there. So do you guys have any idea what the problems have been, especially going down the field, where we saw in the Cincinnati game, it was 1 for 12 in passes over 10 yards?
Yeah, just haven't been in a real good rhythm in that space, he or us. And it is a collective. You're right when you say what comes with the quarterback position in terms of attention during good times and bad. Same thing for the head coach. He and I got big-time responsibility in the midst of what we face right now, and I look forward to facing those challenges with him.
Let's talk about just the philosophy. There's been a short passing game emphasis. In your mind, looking back at the videotapes, are teams starting to sit on that? And if so, what do you have to do to counter it?
I think short passing game is just prevalent throughout the NFL. I know that we see it defensively every week, and we employ schemes to challenge it. So I don't think that that's an interesting argument at all, to be quite honest with you. It's something that's brought up because, we're not moving the ball fluidly and scoring and winning. But in terms of rhythm passing, that's just an element of today's game that's prevalent throughout every offense.
Looking back at Ben's performance, too, on Monday, there have been a lot of opportunities down the field that seem to be broke open late in pass routes. Has he just missed some of those, or what is the explanation for those?
He's missed some. We've missed some in terms of our positioning. Sometimes you got to give credit to your opponent. I thought Cincinnati in particular did some nice things on the back end from a coverage standpoint that created issues and problems for us from a planning standpoint. But it's been a combination of a lot of things.
One final thing on this segment for you, Coach, and that is it's been talked about a lot. Juju Smith-Schuster and the TikTok videos and dancing on a logo. It happened again this week, and he happened to get really hit hard by Von Bell in that game. Is there an issue with that at this point, or is that something you guys need to address?
I really just became aware of it, to be honest with you. I'm not a real active participant in some of those social media spaces. I'll have a conversation with Juju about it just in terms of general professionalism. But things such as that, man, really have very little bearing on the outcome of football games and how games are played at this level. People come into stadiums duly motivated for all the right reasons. And sometimes that's just low-hanging fruit things to talk about when you're unsuccessful.
Well, there's going to be plenty of motivation coming up on Sunday. Both the Colts and the Steelers have plenty to play for. We'll talk about the next team coming into Heinz Field. It's the final home game of the year in the regular season, the Indianapolis Colts. We'll do that when we come back with my head coach, Mike Tomlin. Right now, let's send it back over to Missy Matthews.
Okay, thanks, Bob. And this will be a matchup of two quarterbacks from the 2004 NFL Draft class, Ben Roethlisberger and Phillip Rivers, here at Heinz Field on Sunday. Congratulations to TJ Watt, Minka Fitzpatrick, Cam Hayward, Marquise Pouncey, and Dave DeCastro, who were all selected to the 2020 Pro Bowl. Don't go anywhere. The Mike Tomlin Show. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. There will forever be comparisons of the quarterbacks who make up the 2004 NFL Draft class. Eli Manning has retired, so now it's Ben Roethlisberger and Phillip Rivers as the last men standing. Rivers is with a new team this season and bringing the 10-4 Colts with him to Heinz Field on Sunday to go against Big Ben and the Steelers. Let's check back in with Bob and Coach for a preview of this Week 16 matchup.
All right, Missy, thanks very much. It's a big matchup coming up. So much on the line for both the Steelers and the Indianapolis Colts, who are right now tied for the lead, but also in a wild card position. And Mike, you had an opportunity to clinch a division the other night. That escaped you, and now you have a chance to do it at home. What's it going to be like in this game, this opposition, the way they're playing, because they've won 3 in a row?
Man, I'm excited about it, to be honest with you. You want to play teams that are on a roll. You want to play good teams. It's a means of measuring where you are. I'm excited about our team answering the challenges that have been presented to us due to our recent failures. And it's good to do it in the comforts of Heinz Field. We don't get an opportunity to do it in front of the Heinz Field crowd that we're used to, but the comforts of home are still the comforts of home, and I'm excited about being back.
Phillip Rivers still going strong. And in fact, he started kind of slowly, but he has gotten better as the season has gone on. What do you see from this 39-year-old quarterback?
Classic Phillip Rivers. Man, he's so good above the neck. He has latitude at the line of scrimmage, and he oftentimes gets them in really good plays. He's an awesome rhythm decision maker. He's just a great field general, and he's a catalyst for a lot of things that are going on with them. He's spreading the ball around to a lot of eligibles, but he is really good at just running an offense. Obviously, we've been in the stadium with him quite a bit over the years. This will be our first opportunity to see him in Indy and working with this group.
Let's talk about their run game because it's been very successful. They have Jonathan Taylor, who's closing in on 1,000 yards. Lately, you guys have not been as sound probably as you would like in the run defense. What's made his season so good for a young man coming into this league?
He's got a good skill set. We looked at him coming out in the draft. He's good on the interior. He's good on the perimeter. He has good speed when breaks into open spaces. He's a tough tackle. He's just a really talented guy, and they're doing a good job of opening holes.
And then Nahim Heinz is another guy. Man, every time I look up, he's making plays. Is he one of those kind of a special element that they have that they utilize in their offense?
He's always been a really dangerous tandem runner. Very familiar with him. He was a running mate and running partner of Jalen Samuels at NC State when they came out a couple of years ago. So looked at a lot of his tape, and he's doing similar things in that offense, working in tandem that you saw on the NC State tape.
And you also have a guy on the wide receiving court who you're familiar with, T.Y. Hilton, and he's one of those guys who can make plays down the field. I think if you look at his average now, it's about 14 or 15 yards per catch. How dangerous is he? What do you have to do to stop him?
T.Y. is dangerous and always has been. He's got good vertical speed. He's a good stop-start route runner as well. And so he's got the full route tree at his disposal. But they got other guys that you got to keep an eye on. They keep you balanced, and Phillip Rivers does a good job of spreading the ball around. He's not going to allow you to, zero in on T.Y. without consequences. Emerging guys like Michael Pittman Jr. have provided sparks for him. So we just got to play a good, solid defensive plan and pick our spots in terms of when we're working to minimize individuals.
They have a defense that's moving around all over the place and making plays, led by Darius Leonard, and the guy was fantastic even in his rookie year, won that honor. He can be disruptive there. Do you have to do anything special with that guy?
He's a guy that's really difficult to minimize, to be quite honest with you. He's just really talented. He's got great speed. He's got really good instincts. They employ him kind of schematically in the middle of their defense a lot, giving him an opportunity to make sideline-to-sideline tackles and be an impact player in the run and in the pass. He's a tough guy. He is the guy in the middle. He is a guy for all circumstances, and it really is a catalyst for a lot of the things that go on with them in terms of creating negativity for the opponent.
Well, it all starts on Sunday. You'll see it on KDK. Indianapolis comes to town against the Steelers. Very, very big for both teams. The Steelers can wrap up a division, and that's always the first box to check when you look at what you'd like to do with the season moving into the postseason. Steelers have that opportunity coming up on Sunday. We'll have a final thought with Mike Tomlin coming up shortly. Right now, let's go back to Missy.
Okay, thanks, Bob. And I know we keep saying this week in and week out, but if the Steelers get the win on Sunday against the Colts, they will clinch the AFC North title for the first time since 2017. Coming up next on the Mike Tomlin Show, Merril, Hoge, and Bruce Gradkowski weigh in on the Steelers' final home game of the regular season and what to look for in this matchup. We'll return right after the break.
The Mike Tomlin Show is presented by 84 Lumber. Are you 84 Lumber material? Visit 84lumber.com/careers to learn more.
Welcome back to the Mike Tomlin Show. It feels like for the last half of the Steelers' regular season, we have talked so much about getting the run game going for them offensively. But controlling the tempo of a game can also come from stopping the run. So here's Merril Hoge's playbook this week to explain.
You hear it every week. Everybody says we got to stop the run. Why do I say everybody? Because everybody needs to do that. But why? You ever wonder why? Well, here's why. One of the key ingredients to win in the NFL is controlling the tempo. One of the best ways to control the tempo is if you run the football. When you run the football, it permeates throughout your entire team. Well, in this week's matchup, the Steelers have their hands full because the Colts can run the football very effectively. They are a power downhill running attack. So we're going to take a look at how they run the football and then how the Steelers must play in order to stop or contain their running attack.
Okay, let's look at the Colts and how they run the football. This is the style of running attack they are. They're a downhill attacking team. Let's focus on the center and right guard. They're going to double the tackle to number 41. That's the point of attack. As we snap the ball, watch the double team. First thing they do a great job of, movement. They're moving the defensive tackle into the lap of the linebacker. Perfectly done. The back is hugging the double team. Everybody else is accounted for, but it's the only area they have a double team to the play side. Now watch the running back. He does a great job of splitting the double team by hugging it. As he stays right in between those two guys, the linebacker jumps to the outside. The tackle has been moved to the other side, and the back ends up splitting the double team. These are the style of runs the Steelers are going to face and have to defend on Sunday.
For more now on a self-scout of the Steelers and how there's still time to turn things around with the final 2 games of the regular season, let's turn to another former Steeler, Bruce Gradkowski, for his scouting report.
I think this is the game the Steelers need. I've been in that locker room, and we've always stepped up against good opponents, and the Colts are a good football team. And this is the time, Missy. I mean, we had the good feeling this year. They were 11-0. Everything was grand in Pittsburgh. It's Christmas time coming up, and now, they lost 3 straight. Everyone's panicking. So a little nervous out there, but I think I know Tomlin's never panicked. So that's the approach you have to take. You have to be the same guy every day. You have to keep working on the fundamentals, and that's what's holding them back. Be better on situational football. That's third down. That's red zone, scoring touchdowns, making explosive plays. Just catch the football, just block, just tackle, and don't turn the football over. If they clean up the little things, Missy, they'll get back on track.
All right, now no doubt Ben Roethlisberger has to worry about this Colts defense that's coming to town, but going against Phillip Rivers, somebody that's in your draft class, forever linked with him and Eli Manning, of course, is that a little extra edge for Ben knowing that he is, the opposing quarterback this week?
Absolutely, I would think so. I mean, Phillip Rivers and Ben, both these guys, for doing it as long as they both have to earn, they have my respect. They have a lot of people's respect for how long and consistently good they've been all these years. It's hard. It's hard to win week in and week out. We've been witnessing it the last 3 weeks. So this matchup is fun to watch because I think Phillip Rivers got revitalized going to Indy. Last year he had 32 turnover-worthy plays. He was third behind Jameis Winston and someone else last year for us at PFF. And now he only has 15 turnover-worthy plays. So he's been playing better. He's been playing more efficient. What Phillip Rivers do we see Sunday? That's the big question. The Steelers could get after him. They could force some turnovers, but I'm more concerned about them stopping the run because the Pittsburgh Steelers defense has had some injuries. So I'm sure the Colts are going to get off the bus trying to run the football.
We're not done yet here on the Mike Tomlin Show. Coming up next, Coach Tomlin gives us his final thoughts on the loss of a Steelers legend, Kevin Greene. We'll be right back.
So in my 9th year, I find myself in the right place at the right time in the football universe. I find myself in Blitzburg. I would never quite experience anything like being a Pittsburgh Steeler, playing for Mr. Rooney and the Steeler organization that had such a rich history of just lining up and kicking ass and winning. It was awesome to be a part of that. Playing in front of the Steeler Nation and feeding off that energy from those fans. I believed in my heart that I was unblockable, and it was a phenomenal experience.
The Steelers family and Steelers Nation mourn the loss of Kevin Greene, who passed away at the age of 58 on Monday. The All-Pro outside linebacker amassed 35.5 sacks in just 3 seasons with the Steelers, highlighting a league-leading 14 sacks and a place on the All-Pro team in 1994. Greene led the NFL in sacks twice in his 15-year career, was a 3-time first-team All-Pro and a 5-time Pro Bowl selection. With determination and heart highlighting his relentless ability to rush the passer, Greene was the personification of a city and fan base known for hard work. We lost an amazing player and person with the passing of Kevin Greene, Steelers president Art Rooney II said in his statement. His sudden death is a shock to us all, as he was a close friend and teammate to so many in the Steelers family. When Kevin came to the Steelers in 1993, he had an immediate impact. Paired with Greg Lloyd, Kevin and Greg led a defense that became known as Blitzburgh and went on to play in Super Bowl 30. Kevin's energy and enthusiasm were inspiring for our team as well as our fans. From a walk-on at Auburn to a member of the NFL's all-decade team of the 1990s, he was a game changer whose 160 career sacks, which ranks 3rd all-time in NFL history, led him to Canton, Ohio, where he was enshrined in the NFL Hall of Fame in 2016. The following year, he was a member of the Steelers' inaugural Hall of Honor class. My condolences go out to Kevin's wife, Tara, their children, and the entire Greene family, Rooney added. They will always be members of the Steelers family and in our thoughts and prayers. And Coach Tomlin certainly knows firsthand what a joy Kevin Greene was to be around when he came back to Pittsburgh for various events throughout the years. Let's check in one final time with Bob and Coach for more. Guys.
All right, Missy, thanks very much. A sad week this week, actually, when you think about it, because one of the Steeler all-time greats and a Hall of Famer, Kevin Greene, passed away suddenly at the age of 58, and that's way too young. Coach, I know you had personal dealings with him. He was, on a coaching situation here with you. In the 3 years he put in here, man, I think it says a lot about the organization, how he felt about it, that he went in as a Pittsburgh Steelers, even though he had other years with other teams. That says a lot about how he felt about the organization. Your thoughts about his death?
I just feel really honored to have gotten to know Kevin Greene. What a legendary Steeler and what a legendary football man. His passion for the game, the way he's able to relay it to others. We had him here in a coaching intern capacity, man, and he was worth his weight in gold in terms of the experience, and that was the basis of an ongoing relationship between he and I. I just, really send condolences out to Tara and his son and daughter. He'll be sorely missed, but just what a quality human being, an example of a classy football man. Again, it was an honor to have met and gotten to have known him.
Yeah, I thought Bill Cowher had a wonderful statement when he said, heaven just got better defensively with Kevin Greene now up there. I think that pretty much sums it up. But, Coach, thank you very much. Happy holidays to you. Again, good luck against the Indianapolis Colts, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you.
All right, that's Mike Tomlin, and that's going to wrap it up for our program. Reminder to you, we have pregame show 11:30 a.m. tomorrow. Game comes up at 1, postgame following, and that's going to do it for our program. On behalf of everyone here, Coach Tomlin, Missy Matthews, and the outstanding staff at Steelers.com, I'm Bob Pompeani. Thanks for joining us. Merry Christmas, and we'll see you again next Saturday.